What if I told you Arsenal could walk into the Champions League final with the same rest advantage as PSG? What if I told you the title could be mathematically done before the final day of the season? Meaning Arteta gets to choose who plays, who rests, and who gets crucial minutes before the biggest game in the club's recent history? It is possible. The scenario exists. And today I'm going to walk you through exactly how it happens. What Arsenal need, who they need help from, and why getting it done early isn't just good for the trophy cabinet. It could be the difference between winning and losing in Paris. Let's start with the cold, hard reality of the schedule, because the numbers don't lie, and right now they slightly favour PSG. Arsenal's remaining Premier League fixtures on Monday, May 18th against Burnley, and then Sunday, May 24th, the final day of the season. The Champions League final follows shortly after. Do the maths. If Arsenal play on May 24th, they have just 6 days to prepare, recover and travel before the final. 6 days for the most important match in a generation. Now look at PSG's situation. Luis Enrique's side play their final League One match this Sunday. And get this, it's a local derby against Paris FC. And I mean local. The two clubs' stadiums are literally next to each other in the city. We're talking minimal travel, minimal physical strain. A gentle Sunday stroll, essentially, before the biggest game of their season. And here's the real kicker. PSG have already won League One. They're sitting 9 points clear of RC Lens. The title is done. It's been done, which means Luis Enrique has been able to rest players, manage loads and structure his entire final weeks of the season around peaking for the Champions League final. That is a significant advantage and Arsenal need to find a way to neutralise it. So here is the scenario. Here is how Arsenal win the Premier League title before the final day even kicks off and buy themselves that extra breathing room. Step 1. Arsenal beat Burnley on Monday night. That part should be in Arsenal's hands. Burnley are fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table. This is a home game at the Emirates, and Arteta's side should have too much quality. Step 2. Tuesday evening, Bournemouth versus Manchester City. If Bournemouth win or even draw, Arsenal are champions. Done. Finished. Title secured before May 24th even arrives. Now at this point you might be thinking, Bournemouth? Really? You're relying on Bournemouth? Let me stop you right there, because this is not as far-fetched as it might sound. Bournemouth are currently on a 16-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. 16 games. That is elite form by any measure. And crucially, they will have had around 10 days of rest before facing City, having beaten Arsenal at the Emirates earlier in the season. They arrive at that match fresh, confident, and with absolutely nothing to lose. That is a dangerous combination. And Manchester City, coming off the FA Cup final on Saturday against Crystal Palace. Pep Guardiola's side will be carrying physical and emotional fatigue from Wembley. Yes, they won, but winning a cup final takes something out of you. The intensity, the occasion, the pressure, and now they have to immediately turn around and face a red-hot Bournemouth side that has been one of the stories of this Premier League season. The stars are aligning. This is genuinely on. Let's say it happens. Let's say Arsenal beat Burnley on Monday and Bournemouth do the business on Tuesday. The title is Arsenal's. What does that mean for May 24th, the final day of the Premier League season against Crystal Palace? It means absolutely everything changes. That game against Palace goes from a high-pressure, must-deliver title decider to a dead rubber, a celebration, a lap of honour with the trophy. And crucially, if from a tactical and physical standpoint, it means Arteta gets to choose. He can rest his Champions League starters completely. Saka, Saliba, Odegaard, Gyökeres, Rice. You keep them fresh, you keep them sharp. You protect them from any last-minute injury in a meaningless league game. And then, this is the part that really excites me, you give minutes to players who need game time before the final. Think about Jurrien Timber. There is a chance, Arteta's own words, that he returns for the Champions League final. But you wouldn't throw him straight into a final cold without match minutes. A gentle 45 minutes against Crystal Palace in a dead rubber, in a friendly atmosphere at the Emirates. That is exactly the kind of controlled reintroduction that could get Timber sharp and ready. Same logic applies to Mikel Merino recovering from his fractured foot. If he's close to fitness, a cameo on the final day with no pressure, no title implications is invaluable preparation. This is the difference between a squad that arrives at a Champions League final slightly ragged and reactive and a squad that arrives rested, prepared and on their own terms. PSG have had that luxury for weeks. Arsenal can create it for themselves. Let's talk about what PSG's preparation has looked like, because the contrast is stark. Luis Enrique has known for weeks that the league title is won. That mental freedom, the ability to plan your training sessions, your recovery blocks, your tactical preparation entirely around the Champions League final is genuinely priceless. Players aren't playing through fatigue trying to secure points. They're not carrying the anxiety of a title race. They're sleeping better, recovering better, arriving at sessions mentally fresh. Their final League One game this Sunday is essentially a training session with a crowd. A soft goodbye to the domestic season before 12 days of Champions League final preparation begins. 12 days versus 6. That is PSG's current advantage over Arsenal if the Gunners play on May 24th with something on the line. But if Arsenal clinch the title before that final day, that May 24th game against Palace becomes rest and rehabilitation. Players rotate, the starters get their feet up, and suddenly the gap closes dramatically. You can't manufacture 12 days versus 6 in terms of pure mathematics, but you can choose how you use those 6 days. And an Arsenal squad not carrying the physical and psychological weight of a title decider into that final week of preparation, that's a different team entirely. I want to spend a moment on Bournemouth because I think this piece of the puzzle is being underestimated. Yes, it's Manchester City. Yes, Pep Guardiola. Yes, the most decorated Premier League dynasty of the modern era. But Bournemouth on this form, in this moment, I would not be writing them off for a single second. 16 games unbeaten. They beat Arsenal at the Emirates this season, a result that genuinely hurt the Gunners' title momentum at the time. They are organised, they are confident, and under Andoni Iraola, they have one of the most tactically coherent setups in the bottom half of the division. And the timing works in their favour. 10 days of rest before facing City, who are physically drained from a Wembley Cup final. Bournemouth have nothing to play for in terms of pressure. They're safe, they're settled, and they can just go out and play with freedom. In football, that fearlessness is dangerous. Ask any manager who has been beaten by a side with nothing to lose. Arsenal fans have a complicated relationship with Bournemouth after what happened at the Emirates, but on Tuesday night, the Cherries could be the best friends this football club has ever had. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, and I've seen this debate already starting online. Shouldn't Arsenal want to win the title themselves? On the final day, against Palace, in front of their own fans? It's a fair romantic argument. There is something undeniably compelling about winning the Premier League on the final day of the season, the drama, the emotion, the moment. But let me put the counter argument to you plainly. Arsenal are not just chasing a Premier League title, they are preparing for a Champions League final. Those two things are happening simultaneously, and the decisions made in this final week will affect both outcomes. A high-stakes, emotionally charged final day title decider puts your key players at risk. One injury, one reckless challenge, one unlucky twist, and your Champions League final plans are shattered. We've already seen what happened to Ben White against West Ham. Football doesn't care about timing. Beyond the injury risk, there's the fatigue factor. Players who go through an intense, pressure-filled 90 minutes on May 24th and then have to prepare for the Champions League final are working against their own bodies. The pragmatic answer, and I think most Arsenal fans, if they're honest, agree, is that securing the title before May 24th is the ideal outcome. It transforms that Palace game from a burden into a gift. A gift Arteta can use to rest his starters, integrate any returning injured players, and send his squad into the final week of preparation feeling light, confident and ready. Romanticism is great, trophies are better, and Arsenal might be chasing two of them. So let me paint you the dream scenario. The one every Arsenal fan should be hoping for this week. Monday night, Arsenal beat Burnley. Professional, composed, 3 points. Mascara continues to settle into the right-back role. The title race stays in. This is the difference between a squad that arrives at a Champions League final slightly ragged and reactive, and a squad that arrives rested, prepared, and on their own terms. PSG have had that luxury for weeks. Arsenal can create it for themselves. Timber gets 45 minutes, Mourinho gets 30. The Champions League starters watch from the comfort of the dugout, cheering their teammates on. And then the final. Arsenal, title winners, rested, motivated and dangerous against PSG. Is it guaranteed? No, football never is, but the pathway is there. The pieces are in place. And crucially, Arsenal's fate is almost entirely in their own hands. Win on Monday, then let Bournemouth do what Bournemouth have been doing all season. 2 games, potentially 1 result from another team. And Arsenal could be standing in Paris with the Premier League title already in the cabinet, a week of proper rest behind them, and Jurriën and Timber match sharp and ready. That is the scenario, that is the prize. And I genuinely believe it's within reach. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Bournemouth can do it against City? And would you rather Arsenal win it on the final day themselves or take the rest ahead of the final? Drop your thoughts below, like the video if you enjoyed the breakdown, subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you Monday night for the Burnley reaction. Come on, you Gunners.